Welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston, and joining me yet again is Jason Juggling J. Ford. Long weekend, buddy?
Yeah. But I made it.
Yeah.
I made it.
What you do this weekend?
Started in Friday night.
Yeah, that's good.
Friday, I had to commentate.
The devil was out.
They commentate some comedy at the Michael Priest Diamond for Balco's, or the Ascending Group's softball matches.
Okay.
That was 4 matches.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday morning, I ventured down St. David's to show my face and my support for the 2nd annual for Craig Rockwell Cricket Expo.
Okay.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then that was supposed to start at 10, but I left there approximately about 11:15. I made my way to town. I did a live remote with some kids that tried to battle me. And you know what happened? They lost.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah, you know me.
Stack the deck again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then after that, I turned around and went to St. George's, hoping to see my boy play the R.O. Smith game.
Who didn't play?
Yeah. But, you know, once again, St. George's came out on the losing end, 4-2.
Yeah. So
I think that's probably why he stayed away. And then that was Saturday. So Sunday. Up at Ocean View on the golf course with Kurt Red, charity golf. Once again, proceeds to Georgia Bryant Sr.
That is why an email came out yesterday, Monday, that the golf course will be closed for.
I'm pretty sure it was
reconstructive surgery.
I can honestly say, Earl, it was a task trying to, because you're supposed to be quiet.
Yes.
So, when a guy goes up and, addresses the ball.
Mm-hmm. That's the terminology
That's
used.
the terminology.
Yes.
You address the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes his practice swing. Okay, so when you take the real swing, I'm
still warming up.
the real swing, and when you miss the ball about 5 times, Mikey, I just said, look, just throw the ball. Earl, this is a Missouri Hill.
He was your entertainment.
So it started 1. I think he came in 7:30, 7-ish. And I think he only probably played 9. I don't know. So it's been a long day.
Oh my gracious.
You can only laugh so much.
Well, you know what, Jay? Today we're going to get with the conclusion of the Commonwealth Games. We had the FA Cup final take place on Saturday night. The under-17 women's national team departed, played a friendly game yesterday. We have the Clyde Best Somerset Cricket Club sponsorship awards handed out. And we have so much more to talk about. But let's first get a message from our sponsor and get back into the sports for Tuesday.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber-to-the-home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home.
Well, Jay, the Commonwealth Games came to an end with Erica Hawley carrying the Bermuda flag at the closing ceremony. We ended the games with a gold medal, a national record broken, 37 years. 37 years. We had several personal best performances. Overall, I think we played final. Yeah, that's right. So overall, I think the 8 athletes that represented Bermuda represented us well. We look forward to the next 4 years because now we've set a bar on what we're looking for, and it's going to be a tough act to beat. I mean, if you look at it, like you said, played final, a gold medal, national record, Hey, tough act to
What's the
follow.
next one?
4 years time in Birmingham, England.
And this I'm going back. You know, we mentioned last show. Our elite athletes we're talking about right now probably be out of the sport by then.
Yeah, more than likely.
I would love for Philadelphia to be still in the sport, but you know, life does go on after
Yeah,
sport.
yeah.
Even Tyler Butterfield to stay at this level
Right,
for another 4 years at the age that they're at.
right.
But it's also encouraging for people like Tyler Smith
Yeah,
and even Michael Franklin.
yeah.
It's encouraging because if they're making Franklin's making the plate final now in
Yeah.
4 years with more experience, and you've seen what he's done over the last 2 years,
Yeah.
traveling and getting some experience. You know, he's probably licking his chops right now.
I think knowing Micah, he would be. He would come back, analyze it, jump into tournaments on the PSA tour, get that experience, get that exposure, and look for his number rankings to improve. And the same thing, and Noah Brown right behind him. So you know,
and I'm just even thinking Tyler Smith. He's doing all this while he's still in school.
yes,
So
yeah,
just imagine when he starts to, well, he will be doing this full time.
yeah,
No
definitely.
doubt,
Him and Erica Hawley,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
They'll be doing this full time. So just think about the next couple of years when they finish up schooling, and they put all their energy and
Yeah.
resources into.
I mean, to be honest, if that's the level in which we have to achieve to make it onto the stage,
Yeah.
then we use them as a guideline. I mean, okay, we can't. To be honest, and totally honest from a Bermuda standpoint, trying to achieve or trying to be like Flora Duffy is a bit out of reach for a group team event. But for individuals, yes. But it's going to take time. Flora's been competing how long?
Well, I'm going to disagree with you in one aspect of it. Because it's not even talking about time. It all comes down to support,
Well, that, yeah.
basically. So,
Well, I didn't want to say that out loud.
I know.
but
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say it out loud.
I
It comes
did,
down
yeah.
to support, and you know, she's had the support, and she probably tell you too. She wish she probably had more support.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely.
Any athlete,
Yeah.
but it's like I say, it's a little bit easier when an individual, you know, even Trey instead of a team. But to even compete at this level, that's the minimum
Yeah.
requirement that you're doing this full time.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Tyrone. And you know, and you're still, you know what I'm saying. You to compete on this level, you got to be doing it full time.
Full time, without a doubt. Yeah. It is what it
What
is.
it is.
Yeah. Well, we're only, a week and a bit away from the triathlon here in Bermuda. I guess all eyes will be on Flora Duffy when she races after 4 on the Saturday. I don't know what to tell you. Stay and watch it on TV. I don't know. Getting into town is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I just tell everybody, if you're going to get into town, I'll probably be honest with you.
Go Friday night.
Catch the ferry.
Yeah. There's still no word whether or not there'll be extra ferries out of Dockyard or out of Rockaway. No word on that as of yet. But if and when that does come out, we'll be sure to bring that.
Catch the ferry, catch the shuttle. That's going to probably be the easiest way getting into Hamilton.
Riding or driving is going to be pure frustration if you're coming from the west.
It's coming from the west.
Yeah, coming from the east, a little easier, but you're going to eventually.
And that's going to be starting.
You don't want to know. 7 a.m.
Friday though.
Friday night is the junior event, which is a duathlon, bike run, because they don't want the kids in the water. But come Saturday morning, it's a swim, bike, run.
But I tell you, I am excited because number one, we've got world athletes coming to an island to face off against our champion.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, we don't get that chance.
Yeah, it was. I think it was back in '83, some years ago, that we used to we hosted an ITU event.
Yeah,
So it should be all right.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, on Saturday night, while you were sleeping,
Well, it depends.
you said you stopped at B. St. George's and St. George's lost. That game would have finished at the latest.
I left St. George's 10 o'clock.
The cup was just being presented there and there.
All right there.
The FA Challenge Cup final took place. Only one goal. Unfortunately for Southampton Rangers, first and only defeat of the entire season. But they come away with just one trophy. Unfortunately, didn't get promoted, but something to build on. Your thoughts on Southampton Rangers?
Well, you just said it. You just said it. Something to build on. Having a new coach, and you know, especially in any local sport, having a coach coming from a different area, a different part of the island, different culture, is a culture change.
Yes.
And to get buy-in is it either makes you or breaks you.
Yeah.
Some coaches can get buy-in, they last. If they don't, they're going. Some don't even last.
A lot of rumors they got buy-in though.
Right. So, but no, scouting.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting you say that. But do you want to go to the clip and then come back?
Sure, let's do that.
You're lying.
That's all right. I wouldn't have heard that. Okay, you see you guys got it?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the 2017-2018 FA Cup champions, the Rutherford FC. Those two ladies
Come on, just put on a little bit. You guys gonna have to move over. It's very difficult if they get anything.
And they have the captain of the victorious Robert FC forward to
Hold on, you guys. Hold on, you guys.
2017 FA Cup champions, Robert FC.
You knew Southampton Rangers was going to come and give you a challenge. Was it what you expected?
It was. They've been a good team. This is the first loss of the whole season, so they've been a good team all year. I know Joe Moore had them ready. I'm actually seeing them training over Rangers, and so I know they got good players. A couple of the players came from our team as well, so I knew they was going to put up a good fight, and they actually played very well. So 1-0 was a just result.
How did the match ending early on Sunday help you guys to settle those nerves?
To be honest, I think Sunday's match, they actually had a good bit of the play in that little 15 minutes. So I think it gave us a kind of a wake-up call. Say, hey, let's get out and play. So today we were a lot more intense, and the intensity was a lot better. And we knew it was going to be a rough fight. Yeah.
Sum up your season.
It's been a good season. We're leaving with some silverware. PAC were unbelievable this year. They had a good season. And so we were always climbing uphill, battling with them. And I'm glad we got something out of this season. So first season for me. So overall, we got a lot to build on. But we got some silverware this year, and time to build on that.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Well, Lejean, obviously you had that little chat before the game. How did you think Sunday's match, raining out, played into you guys' favor, having a look at them early?
I think the only thing that played into our favor was it wasn't the change of weather, really, you know what I mean? And we was able to get the ball on the ground and stick to our game plan, which is being direct and pacey.
Obviously, they were giving you guys a hard time, mixing, little physical pace as well, matching you guys' pace as well. At what point in time, or when did you guys think, listen, we need to really settle down and keep the possession of the ball? Because there was a time where you guys kept the ball for a while.
Yes, it was a time where we kept the ball for a while, but I just think in the beginning, we was just rushing, and you know what I mean? It's just the atmosphere and the nerves. But once you went in the second half, the gaffer had a talk with us, said, look, play the game and the rest will take care of itself. And that's what we went out and done.
So overall, you be pleased with your season? Because obviously, as your coach said, PHC ran away with a lot of stuff, but you come up with silverware.
Yes, overall, I'm pleased with the season, you know what I mean? The team is very small. We make up about 15 players. But overall, for the last 3 seasons, we always came away with a trophy, and we just have to keep on building on that, you know what I mean? And we're just making history for Robin Hood.
All right, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Juma, obviously, does this result sum up the season? Hard work, but come up short?
Yeah, definitely so. But it's been a lot of growth this season, and we're very proud of the growth that we had this season.
Now, how do you build on what you've been able to achieve and look to get promotion for next season?
Well, we have to continue to be honest, and it's a process. It's a very young team with a lot of potential. We're going to look to add to the team next year, and try to grow and make it a competitive environment for the team.
What do you say to the team when you get in the change room?
Great season. We're very unfortunate. 1-0 to a team that is in the Premiership that came second. That says a lot for what we're doing, and we believe in our philosophy, and we're just going to grow it from here.
All right, well, good luck.
Thank you.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber-to-the-home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber-to-the-home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you'll get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, I know you just wanted to hear from Joma, but we also heard from Robin Hood's coach, John Newsom, and their captain,
Yes.
John Simmons. But back to your comment from Joma.
So I want to know what you call it now, because he said they're looking to bring in some players. Obviously, he has to do some scouting.
Well, I'm going to go back and play that
And you called it another word.
BFA conference I went into.
But you called it another word. You called it poaching.
Oh yeah, that's all they do. Everybody does that.
But he's alluding to scouting.
He alluded to bringing in players.
Well,
He didn't say how.
He's got to scout first. He's got to know who he's got to get.
That scouting was started
But,
and will go on until signing day.
But like he said, he wants basically competition at every position, and that's what you want.
Yeah, any coach will want that.
Any coach will want that. Now, what really get it? That's a different story.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure if you were to ask John Barry Newsom the exact same question, he would tell you, because that's one of the things he could probably tell you. That's probably one of the reasons why they were probably so far behind PAC in that aspect, because the lack of depth.
Well, he said 15 players all season.
All season.
And in that 15 included him and Timmy.
But you see, he suited up. So it's Timmy played a few.
Yeah.
But Robin Hood still team besides Antoine Russell, and I know there is some talk that this might have been known Antoine. Come football season, it might be a different known him. But in saying that, the nucleus of their team is still now. It's still now.
Right.
And I say still now, these guys are in the prime, pretty much. Not really, they're too young.
Right.
These guys are now. So I can see them continuing on this level for at least another couple of years.
Right.
With this group of players, even if they don't bring some guys in.
I like how you're choosing your words.
Well, I've got to, because, some people take it the wrong way, and I want to make sure that,
It's the way it's been taken since you and I
as they say,
played.
overstand. I want them overstand, not understand. I want them overstand.
But guess what? Dug an under, over, and know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Poaching season is open.
He's still going to say poaching.
It is.
But you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not just for one team, all the teams. And unfortunately, I had some good talks. One thing when you go to that R.O. Smith game.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of knowledge.
That's what you call it?
History around the field, and we mentioned,
along with highballs.
Yeah, we mentioned prior to the prior show, we mentioned that it's probably one of the best crowds. I'll put it this way, Earl. I wasn't there Saturday night at the National Stadium, but I can promise you there was more people down at St. George's Cricket Club watching the Hill Boys than it was up there.
You know what? I was asked yesterday, sorry. What's the one question everybody asks when they talk about a final at National Stadium?
You lost me now.
What was the crowd like?
Yeah.
But that's the only question in sport that is asked when it's. Why don't you ask what the crowd like if I go to rugby?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask what the crowd is like if I go to tennis?
I keep saying this, man. Expectations.
But they choose not to go, and they want the crowd to be big.
Yeah.
Well,
put it this way. Obviously, you can get until teams, and I say teams, we're living in an age now that we just talked about it. Teams need a public relations officer. You gotta know. People gotta. Besides your neighborhood, people gotta know your players.
Yeah.
So whether I root for your team or not, I still might want to go see that player play.
And that's what I was about to say. If you love the sport and you're a supporter of the sport, because if you're involved with a club, you're a supporter of the sport, you go to the final anyway because you're a supporter of the sport.
Yeah. But I don't think we've done enough to promote the boys.
Yeah.
And I've said it international level, but it starts in the club level.
And that was a point I had made yesterday. I was on a radio show and a caller called in and kept talking about the BFA. And my final comment to him was, let me just say, the clubs are the BFA and the BFA is the clubs. So if the clubs want to do a particular thing, because he was on about futsal, if the clubs want to play futsal, that's what you go to the meeting for. That's what you argue your point for. You have a vote. And if the clubs say we're going to play futsal as well as football, then that's what the elected officers have to facilitate.
We got, and what was it, the Congress? What was
the semi-annual.
Right. So when we got the live look in and watch that, and I'm pretty sure you still got it on this side.
Oh, yeah.
Go back and watch that, because you understand that the BFA takes their directive from the clubs.
Thank you. Simple as that.
Okay. It is, the BFA could come up with all these grand ideas. If the clubs do not agree, none of those ideas will come to fruition. Not one.
So it's time people on the outside, people on the inside, educate the people on the outside who stand around and say, the guys at BFA or the girls at BFA don't know what they're doing. Because that, you know what that means? The clubs don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm like, me, I hate somebody trying to push the blame down the road. I mean, start with individual club.
He said he travels and he sees clubs in England playing futsal. Why doesn't the BFA do it? So I had to stop him. Wow. I said, well, you said clubs in England are doing it. So why aren't the clubs in Bermuda doing it?
Well, I could tell you, not just football, that's futsal, but I've over the years, and they've, I've questioned why they've continued, but I know the BFA has tried even beach football many times.
Oh, the BFA has aligned themselves with futsal with Peter Sousa's group. Yeah, so.
But it's unfortunately,
if the clubs don't want to be involved, it doesn't get off the ground.
Unfortunately, and I talked to even about the softball. If the clubs do not make it a priority, then how you expect somebody else?
Yeah.
Now, I want to just say one thing about Robin Hood, because, a few years ago, their label was just a pub team. Now, after 3 years now, being really competitive.
Yeah.
Because that beginning of that year, when it came up, they was just hoping to stay up.
Right.
Can we throw that name away for these guys?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
So what do you need, 4 years?
5.
5?
5.
I just want, because they have been.
Yeah. But during poaching season, it could all come to an end.
Back to this poaching season.
Because the same way they got players, you could lose them.
Yeah.
And that's they've started with a youth program headed up by Dennis Braun. It's in the club itself, but that's going to take time.
And just to let everybody know, and I think that had to happen. That's, I think, by
this season coming, you have to have a youth program.
To start, have a new team come in, whatever. You have to have a youth program.
Yeah, so it is. I mean, they're on the right track. It's whether or not people at the senior level are going to have the patience to hang around to allow those fruits to nourish on the tree. So.
Old teams go through transition, like it's in Georgia's Colts.
Oh, yeah.
Transition.
We'll be like Lee Harvey.
If they're coming back anytime soon.
Not to worry, but we'll be back eventually. Yeah.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, before we get to the BFA Awards, the under-17 women's national team departed Bermuda on Saturday for a training camp in Florida before heading to Nicaragua. Played in a practice match yesterday, came away 3-2 victors. We want to say all the best to the girls as they are now all together, training, eating, sleeping, drinking together, and it can only bode well for that flight. I'm pretty sure when they do board that flight to head to Nicaragua, be no words spoken because nerves will take over. But once they get there, they should be settled enough.
Yeah, but like I said, these guys, they've been traveling together for a little while now.
Yeah.
So I won't say it's just another day, but at least they've had something to I've had that in my back pocket. I know how to do this. I know how to do that.
Right.
Like I said, for a lot of times with traveling parties, and especially, the coaches wouldn't know who the team these players are with.
Who's going to room with who?
But like I said, for the most part, when traveling teams, a lot comes down to the diet and altitude or weather or humidity or whatever. Now, once they get that under control, I think everything comes back to normal.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, Jay, the Bermuda Football Association released the finalists for the award ceremony coming up on Friday at the Bermuda Underwater Exploration Institute. That will get underway at 7:30 p.m., April 20th. It's interesting. We see the lineups of coaches of the year for both Premier and First Division. We also see MVP nominees. We see goalkeeper nominees, defenders, young defenders, and so forth. But to get on the list for Premier Division MVP between three players, Keishan Bean from North Village, Marco Warren from PHC Zebras, Lejeune Simmons from Robin Hood. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they've all had good seasons. Some, and I think all of them have had a good spurt also. Part of the season that they were, really hot. Right. And I think it's going to just come down to who's probably the most consistent over the whole year. Yeah. Because I think all of them.
And who helped the team to be consistent, because it's going to be a team thing as well.
But it'll be just hard for me to see it not go to Marco Warren, because the lead that PAC got that first half, he was instrumental of getting that lead. Now, Lejeune and Keishan came on towards the middle and the end, but that lead that PAC got basically put the pressure on everybody else.
Right. Then we have Defensive Player of the Year in Premier Division. It's down to 4 players. Taryn Frey from North Village Rams, who will have departed the night before, heading to Malaysia with the national cricket team as the captain. Darren Usher from PHC Zebras, Jaylon Bather from Robin Hood, and Lynn Tucker from the Dendytown Hornets.
Once again, it's going to be hard for me, and I'm trying to stay, but it'll be hard for me not to go with Usher, because not only being the champions, winning 4 trophies, but also having the best defensive record. And I know sometimes things go a little bit different,
right?
But it would be hard for me to call. Village did not have they were probably, I have the exact numbers come Thursday, but they were in close to the best.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up, because in the goalkeeping department, you have Taj Bell from North Village Rams, Quincy Kinsale, Hunt from PHC, and Jez Burrows from Crossroads.
So, once again, you would think that will go towards the PAC goalkeeper just due to the fact with the defensive record. Mind you, they also did it by committee.
Right.
Hunt didn't play all the games. But then again, Bow was also injured.
Yes.
But
and Burrows didn't start the season.
And didn't start, right.
Yeah, so.
Now, after last year, all I'm going to say, if Taj Bow does win it, ooh. And that's just based off of last year where the Robin Hood goalkeeper Jason Simons was touted to win it, and he did not win it. Taj Bow won it. For me, I think Taj had a better season last year.
Right. Well, down to the coaching. Fareed Al Kafa from Crossroads, John Newsom from Robin Hood, and Earl Baston from Scott Morton from PHC.
It's gonna be hard.
Come on, man.
It's gonna be hard. But you know what?
Everybody knows PHC crossing board for Jason in the Premier Division.
But for St. George's, do you think it'll be anything different for you, regardless of what?
We're not talking about St. George's right now. We're talking about
So, coach will winning 4 trophies.
Yeah, that's why I said everybody. Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just making it a point to make sure that everybody knows you're for PHC.
If they've been watching the show, they will already know that. But in saying that, you gotta give the Crossroads coach some love because what he's done down there in the last, I want to say 4 years. Changed the culture. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Him and Carl Roberts, I think, came in at the same time, and so what those guys did on down there, and also who's the other coach? John Barry Newsom.
Yeah.
Fresher coach. And he mentioned in his in a previous interview, he didn't really want to come in and change too much.
Right.
And sometimes as a coach, sometimes you just got to let the boys play, especially if the system's working. And they have been successful. We talked about how successful they've been in the last 3 years.
Right.
So, but his job, I know he'd probably be the first one. He'd be the master of poaching. How's that for the next 6 months?
You heard him.
Just using his vocabulary.
All right, for the defensive players of the year, it's 4 nominees for the Premier Division. Jazade Samuels from Boulevard Blazers, Damian Simmons from Devonshire Cougars, Darren Usher from the PHC Zebras, and Eusebio Blankendow from the Dundee Town Hornets.
I'll leave this one to you. What do you think?
I believe they're going to go with Darren Usher from the PHC Zebras.
Reasoning will be?
As a defender, to help his team have the best defensive record and get them back on track when they had a couple of defeats. And scoring goals.
Yeah, scoring goals.
Scoring goals would also help him to help elevate PHC Zebras for those 4 trophies. So that's what I'm thinking they're thinking. All right, let's go to the First Division. MVP, there are 3 nominees. Dion Stovall from the Paget Lions, Tyrell Burgess from BAA, and Dante Brengman from Southampton Rangers.
All worthy. All 3 of them are worthy.
But only one will be selected.
Paget Magic! But all three are worthy. Because they all played an instrumental part. Like, even with from Dante, they went undefeated in the league.
Yeah.
He kept the boys. Even after all the draws, they kept the boys together. We saw the games that Dion didn't play. We saw what happened there, and then Tyrell just beat Tyrell. Consistent. It's one thing I've always loved. It's just his consistency.
Yeah.
It doesn't waver from year to year.
Right. Then the Defensive Player of the Year, another 3 nominees. Tyrell Bridges is in that from BAA. Julian Carpenter from Paget Lions. And Kemo Harrison from Southampton Rangers.
Probably give it to Tyrell.
I was leaning towards that. Goalkeeper of the Year. Daniel Johnson from BAA, Jason Smith from Paget Lions, and Sean Parentchief from the Southampton Rangers.
But you know what? No, I'll probably go back to the Paget because actually Paget didn't have the best defensive.
Yeah.
Which, once I keep saying it, a few years ago they were conceding 100 plus every year. So I think it was 15, 16, 17 for the year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Coach of the Year for the for the First Division.
This might be harder than
Andrew Bascom from BAA, Robert Lee from Paget Lions, and Joe Mar Wilkinson from the Southampton Rangers.
You know this game for Drew. You know this game Drew's got that. You know and I know.
Young Player of the Year in the First Division. Mikhail Hartman from BAA. Tajay Welch from Paget Lions. And Inez Taylor from Southampton Rangers.
Actually,
I honestly believe it'll end up to be Hartman from BAA.
be interesting.
Yeah. But that's only our picks.
Yeah.
Which mean absolutely nothing because
if you've been following us.
because the winners are picked by coaches and captains of each team, and it's a voting system, so numbers get drawn into that.
And that's I think that why you saying that, because sometimes people just a side committee somewhere.
Yeah.
Once again, coaches and captains, I believe, they put their nominees forward and then obviously compiled and then spit back out. So that's how that process is.
Yeah.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, on Saturday, you said it was at Lord's St. David's for Craig Crockwell Super 6 Series, second annual. Good turnout.
Yeah.
Tough dogs, the old dogs.
Yeah.
Come and show those young bucks how to do it.
Well, there's a lot of old dogs out there too, though.
Yeah, but you put the ages of those boys that play for Tough Dogs.
Yeah.
They're closer to Jesus than they are to some of the guys. Sorry, Craig.
That's your boy. Too.
Yeah, well, you know, he'll probably laugh at it too.
That's your boy.
But it's the experience.
Yeah.
Managing what you have to do on the field for the short period on the field. And then, you know, what you have to do when it's your turn to bat. You have to, you know, do what's necessary in order to come out on top. Now, how you like that? The first 2 years of that, two teams that you wouldn't even thought that would win the tournament, won the tournament.
Most definitely.
PHC the year before.
Yeah. A special mention to Code Red. I became third this year, and I want to say
it should have been disqualified.
Well, things happen for certain reasons.
Yeah, you laugh at me.
Shout out to my boy Jacoby. I believe he came the second most runs in the day.
If he batted twice, both times, all the time, then yeah, he batted.
With Dean Stevens, I think
top run getter. Yes.
But you know, Kirby hit the 70s. Let's put this game in perspective here, because the boundaries were pulled in. Big shout out to the umpires for the day.
You mean the arm raisers?
Yeah. Mr. McCurdy and Mr. Deal.
Yeah.
I know they needed massages because every seemed like every 5 seconds they were just raising arms for sixes and
So
sixes.
next year they're gonna have to give them cards.
Yeah,
Cards.
yeah, that's it. Just, but no, but Earl, I mean, that tournament is bringing light to a social ill that we have on the island, and you know, to see the guys who've came out to support not just friends and families, but just guys from across the island who said, and to be honest, I did a radio interview with the family last week, and right after the family left, I got a call. I said, Jay, can I get all the information? Because I need to send them some money for this.
Right.
And I was like, you know, I appreciate what you're doing. This is no Jay. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. If you want to stamp out the gun violence that we have on the island, we ourselves, we can't be looking for some outside solution.
Yeah, there's no outside solution. We have to control things
we
ourselves.
have to control it. So things like these tournaments, yes, it's all fun and games, but why they're doing, and you know, to open up the scholarship fund for 2 individuals and who have nothing to do with cricket. One was golf.
Right.
Nothing to do with cricket.
Right.
But so they can even come back with that experience and go forward. But I would just hope going for next year, there's probably a change in the scheduling of the game, because I know there's a few players that actually played in the football match who would have loved to have played in this actually tournament.
Right.
But going forward, I was well attended. Balls.
Right. It is what it is.
So shout out to Tough Dogs as the winners. And once again, I want to see. I was wondering when these St. Davis boys were gonna
show up. They showed up.
Well, I will say this here, Earl, and I don't know if you got a next clip, but I will say that with the Code Red tournament, the 297 boys actually won that.
Oh, see, we're gonna talk about that.
So they
too.
won it the next day.
We're gonna talk about that. But late today, the Bermuda Cricket Board sent out a revised schedule for the cricket season. We will talk more about that on Thursday. It was late today.
But you just got scheduled.
Listen,
Just came out.
let's talk about golf now. Code Red.
Third annual golf tournament up at the Ocean View. I want to thank the Ocean View staff and guys up there, Brian and OJ and everybody up there. But they're allowing us to come up there and just have fun, just some camaraderie. Yes, it's a so-called band, so-called truck, but to have guys come up there and we're actually playing for charity. So the last few years we've given it, well, 2 of the 3 years we've donated to people who are battling cancer. This year the recipient is George O'Brien Sr.
Okay.
So, you know, he was in between 2 places, you know, for the day itself.
Right.
About the weekend, I should say. George Jr. played on Saturday, but he also played
on
the Sunday.
Yeah.
So to see, and then also see, you know, some older guys like Jeff Richardson and the boys, and, you know, some old players that, you know, you just say, hey, we just appreciate what you guys are doing. But all for a great cause. And once again, the sponsorship from Bacardi and these guys coming on board, obviously it helps tremendously. So this is the 3rd year. Obviously can't wait for the next year because the guys have fun.
Yeah.
My job for the day is to keep everybody hydrated because, you know, it was some great weather out there.
Beautiful.
So it's to keep everybody hydrated. So I go on the golf course and I make sure everybody's hydrated.
And you know what hydrating he's talking about? Hydrated.
Thanks a lot, sponsors.
Have a good night from the Digicel Sports Show.